a copy of this. All right, so I think everyone who is coming is here, and whoever couldn't be here in person can either watch this later or join in live now. So this is the first of, I guess, a series of events that we're calling Lunch and Learn, where we pick some topics related to professional development or just things that you might need to know and invite you to bring your lunch and eat while we cover things. So if at any point you have questions while I am talking, feel free to interrupt me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Or if you have questions at the end, we'll have some time for that as well. Yes?
I have a research group meeting one, so can I leave a little?
For sure, yeah. And if we're not done by 1, which we probably will be, you can go back and watch the video. I'll put a link to it on our Facebook page. Okay. So here's kind of an overview of what it is that we're going to be talking about. First, we will cover the goal or the purpose of scholarly engagement. We'll cover the 3 phases of scholarly engagement, including a little bit of information about developing a program of study. We'll talk about conferences and funding for conferences. And then we'll end with how it is that you confirm your scholarly engagement activities, which is by way of your annual review. And we'll look at our Canvas Scholarly Engagement Portal, which is brand new and super awesome and going to make things a lot easier for not only you, but also your advisor. Okay. So does anyone have an idea or want to give a suggestion for what they think the goal or purpose of scholarly engagement is? This is not a trick question, by the way.
Scholarly activities.
Yes, Warren, welcome.
Hey.
Yes, great answer, Aaron.
That's what.
Yeah, so it's not a trick question. It's actually pretty straightforward. The goal of scholarly engagement is basically to prepare students to be active participants in a scholarly community. And so for us, that is this program or our department. Every program at the graduate level has their own requirement for scholarly engagement. So there's not a blanket requirement. Even within our department, our requirements for scholarly engagement vary just a little bit from higher ed's requirements. So it is program by program, but it's meant to provide a community for scholars to engage with one another, to share their research, disseminate their work, all of that. And by attending this event, you are participating in scholarly engagement. So you go, Glen Coco. Mean Girls, right? Yeah, it's been a while. Okay, so there are 3 phases of scholarly engagement. The first phase is the pre-diagnostic exam phase, which at least some of you are in right now. The second phase is pre-prospectus or proposal defense, and then the third phase is your pre-dissertation defense. So for the first phase, there are a variety of things that you can do to fulfill your scholarly engagement requirement. You don't necessarily have to do every single one of these things. This is just some suggestions. So by participating in Learn activities or being a member of Learn, you are getting some scholarly engagement activities to submit at the end for your annual review. A huge thing for individuals in the first phase is developing a program of study, which I'll have an example of in just a second. But there's an official form for your program of study that you have to submit by the end of your first year. And this will link directly to the page where it's housed. So there are a couple of different resources on that page, including the annual review form. So if you scroll down to doctoral students, you'll see a list of things, most of which you will not need until much later on in your process for prospectus paperwork, dissertation paperwork, but know that the program of study form that you have to submit to OASIS is housed there. I highly encourage everyone to attend the Marveling Youth Conference, which is hosted by CORE, the Council on Research and Education. This is no, you're fine. This is an event that is here in the College of Education every single year. There's no cost to attend this. So there's no travel fees or anything that you have to pay for to attend this conference. It's scheduled for March 29th, so it's just one day. I think that might even be a Friday. I feel like it was Friday this past year. So we'll talk a little bit more about CORE in a second, but they host this conference to allow individuals in the College of Education, faculty, students alike, from all different departments an opportunity to share their work with one another. We will likely have our 3 events soon, or if not this semester, next semester. I know that last fall we didn't have any R3 events, but we did have plenty in spring. If you can't attend an R3 event, they do record these and put them on the website, and so you can go to their website and look back semesters and semesters and watch these videos. Last year, I had a professor who offered extra credit for going to an R3 event, and I couldn't go, so I watched the video and wrote a summary of it, got extra credit. So I understand everyone's schedule is a little bit crazy, but at least there are opportunities like this where you can go back and watch things. And that's part of the reason why we're also recording these lunch and learn events, so that people who can't be here in person can still participate. You'll want to begin developing your CV, or at least thinking about developing your CV. I know it seems kind of overwhelming, the transition from what you would typically think of a resume to a CV. But the Career Center can help with this. Your advisor is also a good resource to talk to. All of our faculty members have their CV listed on the College of Education's website. So if you want to go and look at what a CV looks like for faculty in our own department, definitely do that. I found that sometimes CVs differ by discipline. And so if you're looking to stay in academia, then definitely check out your advisor's CV. And even if not, it's a good idea of what one should look like. And then lastly, for the first phase, begin to engage with your professors this semester, or your major professor, on what your research topics are, potentially your ideas of interest. This is going to change inevitably. I think that it still changes until you have to commit to one topic. But now's a good time to kind of feel out your major professor, see if that is someone that you want to continue to be your major professor as you kind of reach these later phases and milestones. Yes.
Two things. Besides the Facebook page, make sure you also join the Knoll Central page, which I think most everybody is on. I can help you out with that if you'd like, because that's the official record with the university, and we have to constantly update our officer positions there because they use that to know who's in the organization. And also for the R3s in the faculty meeting this week, they talked about making that a priority to bring it back, and also the weekly digest. Okay. Because right now there's no one to run that since Allison did it. So they're trying to figure out which grad assistant can take that on. So
yes, those are super important. The weekly digest, is that synonymous with the ELPS listserv? Do they
No.
Is that, okay.
I mean, they can, but if you have to send something to the listserv, I think you send it to Jimmy.
Yeah, I think so.
But the digest will be something different.
Okay. So the ELPS listserv is where a lot of different events are going to be advertised. You, by being an ELPS student, you will be signed up for the listserv. So you will get those emails if you haven't already started getting them. So this is an example of the program study form that you have to submit by the end of your first year. In my humble opinion, it is not the most user-friendly form or most easy to reference quickly form. And so basically what you're doing is you're listing every single class you're going to take from your first semester to your last dissertation credit hour on this form, projecting when you're going to take your diagnostic exam, preliminary exam, when you're going to defend your prospectus, and when you're going to defend your dissertation. So these dates don't have to be correct. I think that I was a little ambitious when I filled mine out. So a little. I put a year between prospectus and dissertation defense. We'll see. So I think it might change a little bit. But this is basically just you get it down on paper so that your advisor can look over and make sure that you are completing all of the research courses and electives and core courses, discipline, everything like that. It's so they can make sure that you have everything kind of planned out. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So when you're developing your program of study, what you'll want to refer to is a 3-year plan from the department. This is the 17-20 document, so I don't believe they shared the 18 to 21 document yet, but I promise they're working on it because registration opens next month, believe it or not. So this document is not something you should live and die by. It is a guide, and it is subject to change. So for example, Econ of Ed was projected to be taught this fall, but some stuff came up. Dr. Park couldn't teach it this fall, so it's been moved, I think, to spring. So the main thing is for you to look at this, see which courses are offered every year, like your core courses, see which courses are offered every other year. They'll have this EO designation if they're an every other year course. My suggestion is if that course comes up, take it, because so say you just started and you're wanting to finish your coursework in 2021. That means that you need to take org theory in spring of 19 or spring of 20, because it's not going to be offered again until spring of 2022. So try to pay close attention to the every other year courses. Same thing for politics of ed. Like when you see it being offered on here, go ahead and put that in your own program of study, and kind of flag it or note it in some way so that you know there's no moving that course. It kind of has to stay where it is. And there's much more to this. Like there are many, many more courses. They obviously just couldn't fit all on one screen. So keep an eye out. I think Jenny sent it out to us last year. Like I said, it'll be coming soon. So this is just an example of my personal program of study so that you have an idea of what a better format might be than that 2 or 3 page paper you have to turn in to your advisor. So I just broke it down by semester and 3 courses every semester, color coded it according to my program's requirements, so that it was easy to reference what I was taking when. And this, I was not, was I as ambitious? Maybe. I still put 2021 as ending, and that might not actually happen. So just know that this has changed for me many, many, many times, and it will continue to change. I still have some courses I'm not sure about, but this is just meant for you to develop your own, to kind of guide you through your course selection. So for the second phase of scholarly engagement, when you're approaching your prospectus defense, continue of course activities that you started during phase 1, continue to update your CV. I highly encourage you to keep a running list of what it is that you are engaging with or what types of responsibilities you have at your assistantship or internship or whatever positions it is that you hold, because by keeping a list of what you're doing, it makes updating it that much easier, or you can kind of update it as you go, whatever works for you. I know I have like a Google Doc where when I think of a really catchy like way to write what it is that I do, I'll just throw it in there, and then when it comes time for me to update my CV, I've got things already listed. You'll need to attend at least 1 prospectus defense as an observer. You do not have to wait until you're in phase 2 to do this. I know that last year I went to a prospectus and a dissertation defense and thought that they were awesome. So it gives you an idea of what it is that you are working towards, kind of what you can model yours after. You get an idea of the presentation style, kind of the formal aspects of it. So there's just some things that you learn by going and observing that you can't learn from someone telling you these things. They will be announced in the ELPS listserv, just like most other things. And then during the second phase, it's highly encouraged that you attend at least one of the following, which is just either a conference, some type of workshop that's put on by a national association or even a local association. Sometimes we'll put on workshops. Florida State also has a lot of professional development workshops or opportunities. The Career Center, there's a Office of Fellowship Scholar or something.
Graduate Fellowship and Awards.
They offer some type of workshops if you're looking to apply for an internship or you want to get some more information on how to seek out fellowships or something like that. They have a lot of good workshops and meetings that you can go to, and they're a really great resource. I think that they send out emails if you sign up, because I get a lot of emails from them. And so the third phase and final phase is the pre-dissertation defense. Continue what it is that you've already started to continue to update your CV. It's during this phase that you'll need to attend at least 1 dissertation defense as an observer. I would highly encourage you to attend a defense in which your major professor is on the committee, because by doing that, you're getting to see what types of question he or she is asking, presentation looks like. So this, whoever the candidate is, has obviously done a lot of work with your advisor if they're on their committee. And so part of what you're seeing is the byproduct of your advisor's expectations. So it's good to go and see them kind of in action and see what they're expecting of their students. You can present at an R3 event. There's typically a faculty member who's coordinating that. This past year it was Dr. Ayatrola. I think it's kind of TBA as to who's going to organize R3 events moving forward, but know that you can present at those. You should also be looking into presenting as a first or second author or presenter at a state, regional, or national conference. And we'll talk about conferences in just a second. And then lastly, I think this is a lofty goal, but a really great one to set for yourself. Try to publish an article, or at least submit an article to a peer review journal by the time you're reaching your dissertation defense phase. So this is going to look great on your CV if you're planning to go in academia, and if not, it's still going to look great. But just know it's great experience. It's something that you should kind of set as a goal for yourself. I think that every student should at least attempt to get published before they graduate. Yes.
For the R3s, it's Dr. Brez Felkner, who is so nice and approachable. And so
Yes.
if you ever have an idea for an R3 or you want to get involved, she is wonderful.
She really is
Yeah.
super nice. So I've compiled a list of conferences that are most popular among faculty members in our department. This is not a comprehensive list by any means, but the way that I found these was by looking at everyone's CV to see what they were going to, what types of conferences they were attending. So there's a good mix, everything from evaluation to research specific to policy, finance, kind of runs the gamut. There is higher education conferences as well. ASH is one that's going to be in Tampa in November. So if you want to go to a conference this year where you don't have to fly, where you know other people are going to be going, you can carpool with them, maybe share a room. ASH would be a great one to look into if you have research interest in higher ed. If not, because I went to it last year, probably not the conference for you. Talk to your advisor about your research interest, and they can reference what conferences you should be looking into. So there are a lot of them. Here's more. Some of these are more higher education or student affairs focused. CORE is the one that I was mentioning earlier. That's in March. Again, it's local. The Southeast Evaluation Association, they are like somewhere off of Gaines Street here in Tallahassee is where their headquarters are. I'm almost certain that Dr. Schrader promotes that conference when it comes around. She is our program evaluation certificate coordinator. So if you have any questions, our faculty members are attending these conferences. So they are great people to go and talk to and ask questions about. So there are a number of different formats when you attend conferences. If you are submitting a proposal to a conference, this is typically what you'll see. I copied these descriptions directly from AERA. So there are paper sessions, poster sessions, and roundtable sessions. Paper sessions are the shortest, but by no means the easiest. There's a lot of behind the scenes prep work that goes into a paper proposal for a conference, but this is just an idea of what it looks like. Typically, there are a couple of different individuals there who have submitted papers to journals or who plan on submitting papers to journals. You have about 10 minutes to talk about your paper. Everyone else talks. There's a discussant who critiques or kind of summarizes the papers that were presented, and then it ends with a discussion about the papers where you can answer questions from the audience, provide some more information if that's what's asked for. The poster sessions are pretty cool and much more informal than paper sessions. This is probably the most known one, even if you haven't been to a very large national conference. You typically will put your poster up and stand there for 90 minutes and wait for someone to come talk to you. And trust me, they will, because like I said, these are informal. It's kind of come and go as you wish. Be prepared with somewhat of like an elevator speech if you're planning to do a poster session, because people are just going to walk up to you and be like, what's your research about? And so you need to be able to kind of give them an overview of what your poster is saying. And then roundtable sessions are, again, much more informal than the paper sessions, but still provide a lot of good interaction and networking. So you don't have to stick to one roundtable while you're at the session. You can kind of jump from table to table, talk with a lot of individuals, get business cards, ask questions. There's a ton of different pros about roundtable sessions that I think sometimes individuals don't think about. And again, it's around 90 minutes as well. So funding. Kind of the big question for everyone is, these all sound great, but how can I actually get there? There are three kind of what I'm calling primary options to secure funding. Our department typically sends out a departmental student travel request form. This past year it was due in January. So what they're asking for is what conference you're attending. They ask for a budget, I think, as well of your expenses, what you're expecting to be funding. Next is core. They do give awards and funding to students who are planning to attend conferences. I think last year I got ELPS funding for a conference I was not presenting at, I was just attending. And COGS, or the Congress of Graduate Students, they have multiple due dates for conferences, so it depends on when your conference is as to when you apply. The conference that I'm going to in November, I am not presenting at, but will be requesting funding for, because I got funding from COGS last year too. So you never know unless you apply, and you're likely to get the funds, even if it's not, you know, $1,000 or $500. Every little bit counts. Yeah.
And for COGS funding, so hello, Aaron. I'm one of 4 representatives. We have 3 representative positions open for COGS. So if you want to join, talk to me. But also the funding, so that we for COGS, you just apply online for funding. There's an attending grant, which is $100, and if you're presenting, you can get $200. So you'll have to apply for that. They do it 3 periods. Mm-hmm. So we're currently in the first one, which runs through the end of October, so October 31st. You can still apply for that, but I'm not too sure how much we have left in that fund. The next funding period will be November 1st to February 28th. The earliest you can apply for that one is going to be October 1st, which is, I'll be applying for that one as well because I'll be presenting in November. And then, excuse me, the third and the final one for this fiscal year for COGS will be March 1st to June 30th. So that means you can apply May 1st if you plan on presenting within that time frame. Just so it's really easy money. There are a few things you might need to speak with, I believe, Danielle Boone about. There's like certain like department numbers or something, but I've met her. She's super nice, super helpful. So if you have any questions about that, do not hesitate to contact her.
Yes, thank you. There are also some alternate options for funding that you might not have thought about initially. The College of Education does do scholarships for their students every year. You can apply for scholarships and save that money to attend conferences or pay student fees, which most all of us probably have to do. Or if you have a graduate assistantship, don't be scared to ask if there is funding available for you to attend a conference. So by attending a conference, not only are you benefiting yourself and growing as a professional, but you're also benefiting your position. You're hopefully gaining some skills or gaining some knowledge that you can bring back into your position and actually put into action. And so a lot of times graduate assistantships do fund, at least partially, their students' conference expenses. So some final tips for funding: apply early or anticipate the application date. Don't wait until the last minute. Develop a budget of how much you're expecting the conference to cost, because I know our department's request asks for a budget, and then be able to articulate how the conference is going to benefit you, because by being able to articulate that well, you're more likely to convince them to give you money. So if you can actually put that into words, that's going to benefit you. Whether or not they ask you questions, which most of them do ask some type of question about the conference or why you're attending. All right, so you've done all these scholarly engagement activities. How do you prove that you've done them? There are a couple of ways that you can do this. Now we have one way, which just makes it a lot easier for everyone, for you and for your advisor. Basically, at the end of the school year, you have to submit a summary of your activities. Very short, very brief summary. So this is an example of my annual review from last year. Everything I did is summarized in that one paragraph. So it seems like a lot of work, but you're benefiting from these activities. This is just the way that you prove to your advisor on paper how it is that you have been satisfactory in your efforts for scholarly engagement. So what I wanted to do was show everyone, and again, this is on that website that I linked in phase 1. You can find this paper there. So what I wanted to show everyone was the Canvas Scholarly Engagement Portal, where you can actually log all of your activities so that when you're going to write that final summary, you know where everything is. So the summary is due by the last day of classes in spring, and everyone should have access to Canvas now, right?
You just have to accept the invitation.
Yes.
And I'm sending another round of invitations to faculty, so we'll get
Awesome.
everybody matched within the next couple weeks.
Good deal. So this is what it looks like. Mine's pink for some reason. All my classes are colored for some reason. So this is the portal. Just like any other course, there is a syllabus here that goes over everything that we just talked about, the purpose, how it is you confirm your scholarly engagement, and then the 3 different phases as well. So once you are ready to submit some activities, to log some activities, if you go to modules, you'll see all of the different things that we talked about. So if you attend the conference in March, there is instructions for every assignment. I think you just write up your summary, record the date and title. If you participated in multiple conferences, list all of that there. You can either type it in if you go to submit assignment. You can upload a file if you typed it in Google or Google Docs, you can, but in Microsoft Word, or you can just type in a summary here, click submit. And this is for your reference again, but also your advisor sees all of this. So it's very easy. I don't think I had a personal system for doing this last year, which was just a running Google Doc, again, where I added stuff to it. But I know for individuals who didn't keep a running list, reflecting back on that at the end of the spring semester, when you're probably in the middle of final papers and everything, is not a fun thing to do. Thanks for coming. Yes.
See you later.
So learn events and activities. If you want to go ahead and log this, you can. You can resubmit these assignments or activities multiple times, so you don't have to wait until the end to do this. I might even go in later today and just put like lunch and learn scholarly engagement, so that I know when I'm going to write my final write-up to add that in. So it's very easy to navigate. You can upload a copy of your CV. If you met with your professor and you want to have like a way to refer back to your conversation or what it is that you talked about, for this one, you just kind of type up a summary of your conversation. And then here is where you will submit your 1 to 2 paragraphs about all of your activities. So this, again, you can resubmit every year if you need to, depending on if you're a full-time or part-time student, through each phase. And just be sure that you put the date in that document, because if you're referring back to it over and over, it could get confusing. But any questions about the portal? Has anyone accepted it already? Like, do you see it in your Canvas? Awesome. Yes. You can also upload like screenshots if you get a proposal accepted to a conference. Just upload a screenshot of it and you don't have to really write anything. That's good enough. Yeah, so this is a really awesome resource that now all of the students in our department have, the higher education side and the educational leadership and policy side as well. So
I'm just curious, do you know how higher ed's their scholarly engagement differs from ours?
I don't know. I might still have access to it.
I was just curious.
Office of Graduate Fellowships and Awards. That's the office I was talking about. I don't. Oh, let's see if it's here. I don't see it, do y'all?
I was just curious.
It looked very similar. Yeah. It did look quite like ours, which I guess is good for continuity and keeping everything the same. But anyways, any questions about anything random, anything that we need to like look up or I can clarify? Yes, Melba.
Not clarification, but just adding, I know Brittany had mentioned this before, looking at whenever we're presenting at conferences, we might need our own cards.
Yes.
And we want to look into how we're going to do that,
That's a good
where
point.
we can do that, so forth. Because
Cards?
Like business
yeah,
cards?
because they ask you, when you're at the conference, they ask you for your card.
Oh, business card.
business
Yeah.
card.
Oh,
I
honestly,
I was thinking like greeting
Oh,
cards.
sorry.
That's my rule about my own business, is to make them friendly, like they are.
Anyway, on a serious note, I went to FedEx and got like 100 or 200 for like 20, 25 bucks.
Yeah.
Like,
We
so,
could
and
maybe have a little like session for it, so we don't actually hold ourselves accountable and do it.
Yeah, and
And
they're
it'd be a-
Vistaprint.
I
I
would
think
do it all the
that.
time, yeah.
And I think they can send you like a mock-up of it too, or you can see it live, like you develop it yourself.
yeah, like I just went to FedEx, found the design, did it, and I think it might have been a little bit more expensive because I did like the next day because I do everything last minute.
Mhm.
Somebody said a print shop on campus actually
Oh.
does something, but I don't know. Do you remember, Rick? Somebody mentioned that, but the print shop does like a number, I don't know if it's 50, 100 or something like that. And I know for conferences and our posters
Yeah.
are done by them free.
Really? I didn't know that. That's awesome.
But you want to come with?
I was telling Erin yesterday that I went to a conference and they had their poster printed on cloth. Have you seen that before?
No, but Brad Cox was telling us about that.
Yeah. I think I don't know if this is the right term, but I think it was called like cheesecloth. It was a certain type of material that was very easy to print on. And so if you're flying to your conference, you just fold it up and put it in your suitcase, just like it's a shirt. And then you pull it out when you get there and it is beautiful. You just tack it up or like throw it over. It just makes my heart happy. It looks so good.
So they don't even like stretch on like a oil painting frame or something like that?
No, you can, because you know, a lot of the poster sessions just have like little
Clips.
things set up and you can throw it over and it looks so good. I don't know how much it is. It's probably like way out of my budget, but we can look into it because they looked really, really good. And I didn't think, because I've never done a poster presentation, I didn't think how would I get my poster there and not damage it, and not fold it or not have like 10 8x11 pieces of paper that you have to tape together because that just would not look good. So yeah, cheesecloth. Who knew?
Hi.
Yes.
I'm sorry because I know I had like a lot of your own information on it, but could we get the PowerPoint? that
For
you-
sure. Yes, I'm going to send it out to everyone. I've got a sign-up sheet here. If you can just put your name and email, I will send it out to everyone before I leave campus today. Yeah.
And as far as the updates, if we've already passed through a year of scholarly engagement, we should just start where we are? We
Yeah.
don't have to, okay.
Yeah, you don't have to
Just wanna make sure,
retroactively.
like,
That would not be
nothing this
fun.
year. But-
No. Yeah. So like today, I think I'm going to go in and add whatever learn events, like just go in and add it so that I don't forget or I don't have to look back at my calendar like week by week to see what I was participating in. So
And there's also a guide that Brittany made that we can make
Yes.
available as well for navigating this. So there's like
yes, I'll.
screenshots as well, which is really helpful. So.
I will send the guide and the PowerPoint to everyone. Any other questions? These are good points and additions to things that I'm forgetting to bring up. No, I am almost certain that this Google Hangout has been recorded. We're going to stop the broadcast now.